The next piece of animation that we're going to do is going to be taking our character, we've posed them, we've done a walk cycle by this point when we get to this assignment, and then we're going to animate a simple action, okay? So you have to go out and you have to find a video that has a good reference for the character's movements. So it can be a simple action. It should not be something that is cartoony, so something that somebody has already animated you can't use because you're getting a distorted version of what is actually happening. I want you to be able to look at the action and then interpret that and then make it look like a good animation. So here is just animation reference. So here's just some basic things. Okay, so this one is this guy doing some punches. So you could do something like that. And then there's a girl who does some punches. Here's some matrixy stuff. There it is. It should be a simple action, like a couple punches is good. Like a single punch is kind of like boring, like you don't get the whole effect of it. An entire fight scene is definitely not what we're after. People in the past have done interacting between two characters, so if you do have time and you really want to get into it, you could do two characters. Doing two characters poorly is not an excuse of not doing one character really good. Okay, so those two things don't equal. I'd rather you do one character super awesome than do two characters just kind of like right? We also want to be able to see the entire character, so as you look at these references, try to find something that works and try to find something with a lot of motion to it. Something like where he's flying against the wall here, like that. That might seem like a cool motion, like you have him just standing and then flying against the wall, but there's really not a whole lot going on there, okay? What else do we have here? Avatar. Aw. All right, that one doesn't count. That's not real. Wonder Woman Beach Battle. There's always fight scenes. I would also avoid any kind of like acrobatics like that. Anytime we have a flip, even someone turning from one direction to the other can be a tricky thing to do to get it nice and smooth. So you want to avoid those. Some things that are good is animated reference, lifting. So someone lifting something up, stuff like this is great because you not only get the front view, but you also get the side view. So you can really see what's happening with that person. You can see what their hips are doing, see what their feet are doing, see what their legs are doing, the whole mess. You can obviously also videotape yourself doing something, okay? And if you do videotape yourself, you get the ability to actually exaggerate it a bit more. Just going into it and like picking up a box, it's kind of boring. But going in there and trying to pick it up, struggling a little bit, and then lifting it, like that's a little bit more interesting, a little bit more fun. So this is obviously animation and then showing it. And then there's that. Again, we can't use those kind of things. All right, so something like that could be good. We obviously want to have a starting point for the animation and an ending point. We don't want to end in the middle of it. A common question, how long does it have to be? There's no specific length. Typically, it's going to be about 3 seconds to about 7 seconds is a good amount of time. If you look at any of these animations or people doing stuff, you're going to see about that. So her lifting this starts at about 13 seconds. She's really like milking this. And about 22, she's up, okay? So that's about 7 seconds. You could tweak it from there. Other videos that are good to look for reference are any of these how-to. So if you type in how to dance like Usher, there's plenty of videos out there of how to dance like Usher. And what's neat about them is you actually get the idea of how they're doing the movements that they're doing. I think he shows it at the beginning here. All right, let's go to the end. All right, that's not it. What is it called? Dance? It's like slide or something. good. They mirrored it so I can follow along. All right, let's get to the end so we can see what this looks like. All right. So like this kind of thing, this is very similar to like the moonwalk. If you ever see Michael Jackson do his moonwalk dance, the concepts for it are very similar. When you go into the animation, and this is why we use reference, sometimes you'll think you know what's happening and you'll go to animate it and just something won't look right. The trick with this is that the bent leg is always the one that is staying still. I believe that's what it is. Yeah, so the bent leg is the one that stays still, and then the other one like slides across. So these people will break down super slow motion exactly what's happening mechanics-wise in order for this thing to be workable, for it to actually happen. Which is great because it gives you an idea about what is happening during each one of those moves. What the hips are doing, what the feet are doing, now he's on the ball of his foot, now he's on the heel of his foot, those kinds of things. And if you say you don't need reference, this is a professional animator. The professional animator is using reference that he videotaped on his own. If he's using animation, I'm sure we would use animation or benefit from animation as well. This is a one of these volume things. There we go. So that's him in the top left, and then this is the blocking in stage. This is the somewhat finessed stage, and then this is the final rendering. This stage is going to look very blocky, like choppy.
That maybe that thing watching you is a giant elephant.
Oh, there can't be people that small. And the first guy would say, are you calling me a liar? And the second guy would say, if the shoe fits, wear it. And now the fists are flying, and the first guy picks up a brick. And you might want to zip up the pouch for this next part. All right, fat boy, you want some of that? What?
I'd do it myself, but being a lady, I prefer not to get my hands dirty.
I'll just be quiet now. You know how sometimes you get too tired to sleep? You get past the point of no return. Kind of feel like that right now. But anyway, I'll shut up.
Not quite.
How about now? Is this better?
Yeah, sort of.
Come in, Mayor.
Kinda losing you. Whoa! Oh! Whew.
Mr. Mayor, are you seriously proposing that we spend the Who-Centennial underground like worms?
Mayor! I found you!
You can also see as his video, if you're watching that, there's a lot of cuts to it because he's like recording it and then cutting this together to fit with the dialogue that's happening. His actions are like a little too extreme for the elephants are too extreme for what he can get himself into. So you can see a lot of these cuts where he's really tweaked it and modified it. This guy actually has a bunch of stuff up here. And by a bunch, I mean like 2 or 3 different videos that you can use and kind of check out. But again, try to find a nice video, nice clean action. Any lip syncing, definitely a huge thing. You would literally spend an entire week doing just the mouth and it would turn out okay. So if you can get something that has maybe some facial emotion, great. But if you have something that has lip syncing, I would really avoid that, especially for your first one. So find a video. There are ways to download YouTube videos, or you can just bookmark it and you can use your arrow keys on the keyboard. Not the arrows, the greater than, less than sign, and you can actually go frame by frame and see frame by frame what is happening in the video, which is really awesome. So at least bookmark the video so you can see exactly what's happening here. Come on, lady. Oh wait, it's past, she already lifted it. That's her slow motion one, that's why it's taking so long. All right, there we go. Okay. So like stuff like that, like going from here, when we're animating it without reference, we might just grab it and lift it straight up. Obviously, her body does a whole bunch of stuff before she even gets into that. where she lifts her butt way in the air, her feet go up, she's on her heels, and then her butt comes down, heels come down, and then she screams and then lifts. And then notice how her back is like the last thing to come up. So he throws it up, and same thing, look, she's off the ground, jumps in front, the weights are behind her, she's squatting down again, front right leg is a little bit twisted, she's about to fall, but she maintains her composure. There it is, and then she's up, right? So find a good video. If you're not sure of the video, ask me. Just like everything else, we want to have these things ready to go when we're ready for it. We don't want to spend an entire class looking for that. You can spend all weekend looking for a video. You're on your phone, wherever, find something, bookmark it, save it. If you have 10 videos, we can find the best one that we're going to use. Game animation reference or reference. Very difficult, that kind of flip right there. Super difficult, that one there. All right, stop showing off, just get to like regular stuff. Yeah, it's not that they're impossible for a beginner to do. They just take a lot more time, is all. The reason is we have so much stuff going on. It's not just like grabbing it and rotating it. You have to make sure the hands and the feet and the hips and everything are moving in sync, especially that. That's insane. There we go. More animation reference. And again, nice front view, side view. And you can see there's a whole bunch of stuff right here. I'm sure you'll be able to find something that would work. Cool. Questions on that? No? All right.